you can teach a monkey to splice. That's what people tend to say when they don't know how to splice. Now, if anybody's been on one of my training courses, I'm afraid if they've not been taught by myself, it's been one of my plagiarized courses, usually supplied by people that aren't from the industry and don't have a clue. Wasn't ever something I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was give the information out to the industry so we would all be working under the same rules and we would have the same information. Now it's got me to do this for free. So great news, bad news if you pay for a course, good news for everybody else, because the information I'm going to supply is going to be totally free, and I'm going to give you some standards and some tips, and it's all backed up by industry. And this will be rolled out over the next few weeks, and then we're going to really launch it at Hillhead next month, where we've got some hands-on training and people can sign up for some one-to-one if they want. But like I say, we're not going to charge a massive amount of money. If you want us to come to your site and spend days talking and speaking and training your guys, there's going to have to be something involved. If you're already a customer of ours, then there's no reason why we don't put this all in as a bit of a package anyway. So more videos come in, and please check out our YouTube channel. The thing you're going to need is knife skills. Now everybody wants to start working out how to do a joint and all the different technical ways of that, but this isn't the case. This is get a Stanley knife, industry knife. I mean, we sell these because they've got a lock-in. This type of thing I find it quite unsafe because it can drop down. Now there's other different ways of splicing, ply knives and that kind of thing. The only thing I would say is splice with a broken bottle top if you can, but protection. These are a cut level 3. I think these are perfect. I always splice in these. It's just gonna stop that little nick. You're gonna still stab yourself with them unless you have a set of chainmail gloves. So when I start doing any training, I always start with knife skills, because believe it or not, you can't actually teach a monkey to splice. Get a standard piece of conveyor belt. Usually I always start with the back cover, which is the thinnest of the two normally, and I get them to mark out 50 mil or 25 mil, just so the measurements are nice. I get them to draw a line, and then I get them to run along freehand that line just until they touch the ply. I don't want them to touch the ply, I want them to go down it. Now, this technique might not be suitable for everyone, because everybody, oh, I use a ply knife, I can't splice with this. What I'm going to teach you now, that is obviously free, is techniques you can use in a field. All you need is that. You don't even need a tape measure really, and a pair of pincers, and you'll be able to splice a conveyor belt with this little bit of knowledge. But forget about splicing a belt, forget about everything else, knife skills. And this is the bit that you need to learn. You can't do this more and more and more and more. You've got to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, until it becomes second nature. Now, cut resistant gloves is a must. Before you get involved in anything like this, there's so many different knives and pincers and everything, all wants to chop your fingers off. I'm saying, I'm not going to put boring disclaimers on every video, but it is on our website. Use your common sense. I'm not going to mark, I'm just going to literally go down using the side of the belt. And that, I'll follow that line, and I just want to touch the top of the ply. I don't want to cut it. Now what I'll do, because this has got a solid edge, it's a molded edge belt, I'll just go in and I'll look at picking this up down to the cover, and I'll just go down, and then I can just feel it. I'm going to do some better videos. At the moment, I just want to get the information out there. I just want to pick it up, and I don't want to make a mess. Now, There's millions of different sorts of pincers, loads of different sorts of stuff that you can use for this. So they're gonna snap, look. There you go. It's pulling away from the ply, lovely. And you get that technique. Don't attempt this if you've got a bad back or you're not used to this kind of work. And then you're pulling that rubber off there, lovely. Like that. It's always when it's on a video. There's no drama. You just start again, pick it up. All this is knife skills. This is all, and I can hear every single American screaming at the camera that I'm not using a ply knife and I'm not gauging it and all the rest of it. This is knife skills with a Sally knife or an any brand knife. Now here, you're gonna want to measure. Like I said, if you can put down here with a line, if you can get a line here and you can learn to follow this line, let's say a line with the back of your knife to give you a line, and then I want just to go down, follow this line. Anybody can run down a straight edge, but this is the bit that's going to give you the skills. Follow that edge. And if you're 50 odd years of age and you can still see it, there's no excuse for you young boys or girls. And then you can feel it just on the top of that ply. You're not cutting it. Again, we're going into here and we're gonna lift up that rubber. And this, where you get your pincers, you can grab it with a pair of pliers. What are these? Oh no, not pliers. Grab it with anything. All you need is a Stanley knife, a pair of pliers, and a little bit of conveyor belt. And you can start knife skilling. And that's all you need. We're not gonna go mad. We're gonna put a lot of these videos on so you can get the technique of knife skills. And that's all this is. And to be fair, this is what you should be doing every day on the quarry, on the recycling plant, is learning knife skills. This is ripping because this is second-hand belt, bit we've got knocking about in the yard. We've got little cuts here, but if it all stripped absolutely brand new, you don't care. And you keep doing that all the way down, taking that back cover off until it becomes second nature.